Alright, so in this video I want to talk about behavioral observation measures, and this is probably what most people are going to be using for their project, but hopefully it's also going to be something that you're going to be using commonly in your clinical practice. So this is an example of a really basic behavioral observation measure that you could use with somebody. So for this little activity, it says in the space below, create a behavioral observation measure for Sarah, and think about how Sarah can use the measure. Sarah's problem operationally defined is the number of negative thoughts that Sarah is having about herself each day. Please see Chapter 5 of the course for examples of how you might complete this exercise. But I'd also say keep in mind that behavioral observation measures rely on counting how often a certain behavior occurs within a specified period of time. So page 143 of the course textbook will have an example of this filled out. If we're thinking about the number of negative thoughts that Sarah's having per day, again, you could just fill in something really simple. Sarah Smith. That would be filling in the client's name. Behaviors to be observed, we'd say negative thoughts about self. And time period, we said number of negative thoughts each day. So this would be daily. And you would be giving this out to her to complete for herself each time she was having a negative thought about herself. So let's say you were going to be starting this August 1st. And number of times the behavior occurred. So let's say that she had 7 negative thoughts about herself on this day. And an additional comment, maybe it was her work performance review. All right, and then so 802, number of times the negative thought occurred. We'll just say 3, and you could say end of the work week. So again, this is just a brief example, but you could figure out maybe something that looked a little bit better for you. And then on the bottom it says additional comments. Sarah's negative thoughts are about feelings of inadequacy. For example, Sarah believes she can't do things that other people can easily do. So this is again just keeping track of the number of negative thoughts that she's had about herself. You could also modify this to have duration of negative thoughts. So maybe instead of saying that she had negative thoughts about herself 7 times in the day, maybe you could actually try to get her to start with minutes. So a number of minutes having negative thoughts, because if she's spending a half hour just brooding, thinking about these negative thoughts, and that counts as 1, well, that's not really accurate, right?